Thank you for your loyalty to HeroDeck Health Systems Incorporated, where it is our pleasure to serve all of your medical needs. We are pleased to announce that we will be implementing an electronic medical record system to better serve our patients. In this presentation, we will show you how it will improve patient care, and the answer to the question of will it increase the cost to our patients, the answer is no. In fact, we anticipate this will help reduce costs over time. In this presentation, we will show the typical experience of a patient in a paper-based system and what we anticipate your experience will be in an electronic system. In a typical paper-based system, patients must call for appointments, and they must do so during business hours. And this could be possibly while you're at work at the same time. More often than not, unfortunately, our patients are placed on hold, and patients sometimes go back and forth with the scheduler trying to determine a time that best fits the patient's busy schedule. When the patient finally arrives at their appointment, they must go in and sign in at the check-on log, sit down, then they're called up to the desk again to pay for their copayment, and then they return to their seat. And a clerk retrieves a paper file and takes it for the doctor's nurse to retrieve it. Once the nurse picks up the paper file, the nurse will then call the patient back, take vital signs, handwrite that information into the file, and then walk the patient back to the treatment room to discuss the purpose for their visit and to handwrite their notes in the file for the doctor. And then the nurse leaves and usually places a paper file in a hanging file folder directly outside of the room. When the doctor is ready, the doctor will come and retrieve the file, read through the nurse's notes, and discuss previous visits and transition to the reason for the current appointment. After any diagnosis and or treatment, the doctor will write the notes in the file. The doctor may also provide the patient with pamphlets or literature pertaining to any worsened or new health-related issues. If a prescription is necessary, the doctor will write the prescription and give the paper prescription to the patient. And then when the doctor leaves, they'll place that file in a location to be retrieved by someone and taken back to the file room for future use. After the patient leaves the doctor's office, they will go and drop off their prescription at a pharmacy. Then they can run errands or go back to work, whatever it is that is on their agenda for the day. And then they will then return later to that pharmacy to actually pick up their prescription. If the patient was given any kind of pamphlets or literature, patients will sometimes hold on to those, but unfortunately, more often than not, they will lose them. They may leave them in a car or even at their place of employment for others to discover that pamphlet or that information. And some patients will also go online in an attempt to find videos or information related to their visit to help support anything the doctor may have told them. A patient's experience with EHR systems and the online patient portal is very different. A patient is able to log on to the patient portal at any time, day or night, and schedule an appointment. They can do it from a PC, a smartphone. There's no waiting on hold because they're logging into the system looking for available times, and they're even able to make their co-payment ahead of time online, either at the time of the appointment or at some time leading up to when they arrive for their actual appointment. That's at the patient's discretion. Once a patient arrives at their appointment, they can sign in at the kiosk, and that sign-in will notify a doctor or nurse that they have arrived and they are there for their appointment. They will then sit down and wait to be called back for their appointment. If they haven't already made their co-payment, then they can do so at that time at the kiosk. And then when the nurse comes to get the patient, They call the patient back. They take vital signs, which are stored digitally. They're stored in the computer system. They'll then walk the patient back to the treatment room, discuss anything that needs to be discussed, and enter notes into that EHR online system there, and then they log out. Then the nurse will leave, and then the patient waits for the doctor to arrive. When the doctor arrives, they log into the system there, and they can review any notes. In some cases, there's a monitor where the patient is able to see this information as well. And they discuss, they have a typical appointment with the doctor. And once they finish, then the doctor is able to send electronic prescriptions to a pharmacy of the patient's choice. And that way the patient doesn't need to carry any prescription with them. Everything is done ahead of time. The doctor will update the records and log out of the system. And again, at that point, that patient's information is secure. And then when the patient leaves the doctor's office, they can either receive an electronic call or a SMS or text message from the pharmacy indicating that prescriptions are ready, so that the patient only needs to make one trip to the pharmacy. And in terms of literature and information, the portal system has access to that for the patient based upon their specific medical condition. This way there's nothing to lose, and the patient is able to review this information not only at a time that's convenient to them, but at a moment where it's a private moment for them if the circumstances warrant that. What does this EHR mean to a patient? Better privacy and security. It saves the patient time and the practice money, which will ultimately result in savings to the patient as well. Better health treatment, because everything is cataloged very well. There's portability. There are many options. And with regards to better privacy and security, traditional paper records are cumbersome and cost a lot to store. They also require a lot of space in most cases. And if the chart is lost or damaged, then the patient history can be lost. EHR systems are secure through passwords and through other means, so that only authorized users have access to them. The data is digital and backed up for redundancy. It's backed up in a location off-site so that it is safe from any natural disasters. EHR records cannot be easily lost or left around because they are secure within a computer system. There's no longer any waiting for paper files. Check-in is easy with the kiosk, or if the patient desires, they can go up and speak with one of the clerks. And as it was already mentioned, patients through the portal can request their appointment. They can request prescription refills as long as they fall within a specific window. Patients have immediate access to information that may be necessary for insurance or flex spending. You're able to pay co-payments ahead of time. And if there are leftover bills, pay those online as well. And also sign up for automated reminder calls if that becomes a necessity. Through this new EHR system, we will also be able to proactively remind patients of their routine visits. We will also have educational videos available through our system. We will also have a means by which patients will be able to enter any day-to-day data such as blood sugar levels so that their doctor can review that in future visits if necessary. Our patients will also be able to obtain a portable health record that they can take with them if they are going on long trips, so that they can have health care at another location. And that'll also allow them to have access to things such as x-rays, prescriptions, treatment plans, known allergies, things of that nature, if while on vacation something arises and they need medical assistance. And again, convenience benefits are online payments, online refill requests, appointments requests online, access to all that information. And a future goal is to allow our patients to do authentication if they have an iPhone, fingerprint scanner, or a similar device, again, to prove authentication, prove who they are with system information and capabilities. This is the end of our presentation. We hope you found this informative, and we look forward to improved healthcare in the future. Have a wonderful day.